2020 will be remembered for a virus, an election, aliens.
Hey, look! It's Conor McGregor's right there!
And now Jake Paul throwing water balloons at a trained fighter while driving off down the street screaming like an incoherent toddler.
But Dylan Dennis ran up to him and he sped away. Why didn't
Right.
you get out and fight him? Dylan Dennis gets a hold of you. You're
It's a
getting
rap
your
ski?
arms broken.
Yeah.
You're getting your neck strangled off.
Yeah.
Why is this happening, you may ask? Don't worry, I've got you covered.
You ugly, bald bitch!
Welcome to the social media comedy playlist where I make fun out of the ridiculous world of
social media.
Ronaldo admits he prefers to watch boxing and UFC over football.
Small correction there, article writer, because UFC is a sport.
Do you train UFC pro?
What's going on with this kid? Either I've been staring at the sun too long or you've dressed up Ronaldo like a Satsuma. Anyway, we recently had a boxing fight between two legends, Jake Paul and another dude, apparently. Didn't watch it. Watched the main event. Hopefully both of those fighting legends made loads of money and can now properly retire. So I'm a combat sport fan. I have a complete respect for combat athletes who dedicate themselves to their craft, but not for rich entitled YouTubers who've run out of things to post, so now want to fight because they need constant attention.
That's a fact.
The journey of a combat athlete, the discipline, the learning and developing the skills, moving through amateur fights to professional fights, training camps away from family, huge sacrifices, in most cases not being financially secure, whilst moving up the ladder and putting those years of training into practice in a professional environment against other trained fighters. It's now being hacked by YouTube celebrities who just skip that whole journey, decide they want to be a boxer, jump the queue and use their large platform of tween followers to create these huge pay-per-view fights. There is demand for it for some reason. Now Jake Paul, you know, the dude who showed dead bodies to his tween audience on camera. Sorry, that was Logan Paul. Same nonsense. Which one is the arrogant one? Has turned from being essentially a Disney-type character on YouTube to now an edgy bro showing girls' booties on camera. His YouTube page is basically a non-stop spring break. Has called out Conor McGregor at a time when Conor McGregor is in training camp to fight another elite MMA fighter, Dustin Poirier,
Dustin Prober.
for $50 million. I'm getting Dr. Evil vibes there. And so this is Jake Paul's shocking call-out video of Conor McGregor that millions of his tween fans who have to ask mummy if they can stay up to watch the fight are pissing their pants over with excitement.
What the f is up, you Irish? Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday.
The man's come out spitting fast, sat there like Tony Montana's biggest fan. I think someone's been watching too much Scarface. And we know that this call out is legit because he's got a massive check next to him.
My team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. $50 million cash, proof of funds.
Name, Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. Don't think the bank will accept that, mate.
The biggest fight offer you've ever been offered, but you're scared to fight me, Conor.
Maybe he can't be bothered to fight a guy who's doing his fake hard man routine while sat there wearing Mickey Mouse glasses.
I just came off the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history.
The 8th biggest pay-per-view ever because of these two. To be very clear, this guy was a warm-up act, not the main event. For anyone that doesn't follow combat sports, this would be like this bloke from Gladiator taking the credit.
You're ducking me because you don't want to lose to a fucking YouTuber. You're 0-1 as a boxer. I'm 2-0 as a boxer.
Jake Paul is 2-0 as a boxer. He won his first fight against another YouTuber. You know, that well-known boxer and Esson Gibb. And to put that in context, he beat a guy who sounds like a Star Wars droid. Ooh, dance camp. Lance was great in that, to be fair. And he's that one. Just for any of his fans who want to chronicle his Rocky boxing story, he's the guy on the poster doing the Michael Jackson impression. I don't know who Mr. Gibb is, but come on now. Behave yourself, you spoiled child.
And Dana White, you're a too.
And then his second fight where he just knocked out Nate Robinson. You know, former basketball player Nate Robinson, who had no professional fights at all before fighting Jake Paul, and has decided to start taking up boxing at that ripe old peak age of 36. And so Jake Paul is fighting essentially
Boxers.
who have zero experience, like he does, but he thinks that he is the real deal and that he's legit, padding his record with these celebrity fights, when in fact, if he did actually step in the ring against a legitimately trained fighter, it would go CM Punk for him. And he's called out Conor McGregor, who, let's be honest, is no angel outside of the cage and has done many stupid things outside of fighting, but who is a former multiple weight MMA champion, who's beaten great fighters such as Jose Aldo, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, amongst others.
You're 0-1 as a boxer.
And yes, he is 0-1 in boxing, where he lost to Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest fighters of all time. I mean, his fights are as boring to watch as Jeff Sides' Instagram post. But in terms of a defensive boxer, his record, the people he's beaten like Pacquiao, Hatton, his skills, he most certainly goes down as one of the great fighters in the history of the sport.
Conor, you're scared. Dana, you're scared.
And by the way, Jake Paul, who fights at around 190 pounds, is calling out Conor McGregor, who fights at 155 or a maximum of 170. It's a joke, it's a nonsense, hence my mocking it.
Jesus Christ. Irish.
I thought that Chris Herrier had the biggest YouTube boxing ego. He may have been outdone.
But you want to fight Dustin Prober,
He can't even claim mispronunciation due to being punch drunk because he hasn't fought anyone that can actually punch yet.
who has less followers on Instagram than my dog.
People actually fact check that. Dear internet people, you don't need to do that. This is clearly nonsense.
Sign the contract, you idiots.
Now remember, when you are trash talking as a grown adult and you scripted 10 seconds of it and you're ad-libbing for the rest of it, remember to end your sentences with the word idiot.
Idiots.
It's like the school playground all over again. That's my ball, you idiot. I'm telling the teacher. But are you surprised from someone who makes their own WBC belt? How cute. That call out got Nate tweeting again, and I'm glad that he wrote it down because I don't understand a word that man says otherwise. Great fighter, but he talks like Stallone after he's had a few pints.
I don't know what a white man is.
Jake Paul, you need your ass beat, you spoiled. You can't really fight, you dumb. You're gonna end up with your ass hooped for real somewhere talking like that.
But Team Paul are not as dumb as they look, apparently, because if their ridiculous call out of Conor McGregor was not accepted, they had a backup plan. Michael Bisping. Yes, former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping, who's the same size as Jake Paul, who's on the list of one of those fighters with the most fights ever in the UFC, incredibly tough, technical.
At the end of the day, if you want to do this, okay, stop playing games. If you want to do it, I'll do it. I'm here. No problem, okay? I'm almost 42 years old. I'm a former world champion, and I will take you to school, my friend.
What's another word for delusional? Good luck with that one, Lance.
Because you're contacting my manager and saying that you want to fight. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm here. I'm going nowhere. You want to fight someone? You want to test yourself? You won't get out of 1 round, 2 rounds, but we'll say 3 just to give me that little insurance blanket.
If he gets out of round 2, Bisping, that's a moral loss for you and your family.
Well, maybe I'm just going to take my time. Maybe I'm going to do a Floyd Mayweather and just play with him.
And so now to the serious point to end. Of course, boxing brings about it a health risk. Combat sports do in terms of head trauma, concussion. There are serious health risks associated with it, and trained combat athletes are aware of these risks, and part of that journey of training over a prolonged period of time and progressing through amateur to professional ranks and working their way through over time is partly to reduce that risk somewhat and prepare them for that harsh environment. That is why the process and the journey of learning the art is so important, and one reason, on a serious note, why I'm against these celebrities just jumping into these exhibition fights for attention. Leave it to the dedicated combat athletes, or if you want to go down that path, embrace that path sincerely and work your way through that art form, not just skipping the queue with these cringeworthy call-outs for social media attention. I think that this diminishes from the integrity of the sport. There are other people who think that it brings attention to the sport. We all have our opinions. And so I'd like to thank everyone, as always, for watching this video, for watching the other videos, for watching the channel. Wishing you all the best at this time. I'm James Linker. This is Shred Sports Science. I'll see you soon.